Hey everybody, Vince Dowd, founder of hijackmind.com, and I'm coming to you again tonight from Phoenix. I'm trying to get this dialed in. I apologize if you've stopped in to watch my live events the last night or two. They've been a little bit sketchy because I've been just got back from Europe and I'm having some troubles. I'm on the road again. I'm here in Phoenix and I have my laptop without my camera, so I'm going to hope that this one works. I'm going to do this. If it doesn't work, I'll wait till I get back or try again maybe tomorrow. But we're going to talk about IOTA. So having said that, I'm going to do a real quick a discussion more on the technical analysis versus anything else, because there's some great videos out there right now on IOTA if you just want to YouTube them regarding the Tangle network and how it's not the blockchain. But I really am excited about this coin and this token because I think the future is the Internet of Things. It's been said that there's going to be a $19 trillion industry, the Internet of Things, which means everything. Our clothes will be connected to the Internet, our belts, the concrete that are the streets, the asphalt, and then that will have sensors that will tell your vehicle that there's ice ahead. So everything being connected to the Internet means there's going to be a lot of transactions, a lot of information being passed back and forth. And IOTA does not use blockchain. It uses a Tangle technology, which means, from my understanding, that the more people that are using the network, the more efficient and faster it becomes. And there are no fees involved. So it sounds like realistically this could be one of the big players after the shakeout and after the masses start to come in. As long as they continue to perform, this one would be a big one. So let's talk about it. We're going to go right into technical analysis right after this. Okay, you should be able to see my browser, and let's get right into it. This is IOTA, okay? So this is I'm using TradingView. You can see here it's IOT USD. TradingView is a platform you can use for free. I do have the paid edition. What I have on the screen, if you're not familiar with charting, is I have the price chart up here on the top part. The blue dots are called the stop and reverse. It's a technical indicator. You can use what you can find right here, and it just tells you basically that if the position comes down and hits that blue dot, it's no longer bullish, it would become bearish, which means you would stop out and reverse your position. In this case, you would short the position, which we cannot do with the coins. So it just kind of shows me kind of where it's at as a guide. The red line is the 50-period moving average, and the purple line is the 9-period moving average. So this is the faster moving average. This is the longer term moving average. If it is north of these lines, it is bullish. If it is south of these lines, it becomes bearish. Right here is the RSI, which is relative strength. It shows pretty strong. It's turned down the last a couple ticks. And then MACD, which is a moving average convergence divergence. And this is a strong indicator as well that we're looking good. The volume has accelerated here recently on IOTA, meaning more and more people are buying it, more and more buying pressure. When we see the price moving higher and volume supporting that move, that's a very, very good thing. So we're looking at a daily chart right now. The first thing I do is I always look at the weekly chart first, because when I bought IOTA, I bought it not to trade it. Right now, I'm not trading cryptocurrencies. I am buying and holding, and I'm looking for momentum type plays. What I learned in trading the stock market in the 90s, playing with .com companies, I bought and sold a lot and made some very good money. But there's some of these positions, if I would have just stayed in, I would have made a tremendous amount of money. So I'm looking at this more of a buy and hold, and I will look at trading once things get a little cleaner and I have more time. So let's look at this as a position maybe you want to buy and hold. Now keep in mind, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a broker. So anything you do or hear about today is only for education purposes and only to share with you strategy. If you are looking to buy, make sure it is money you can afford to lose all of it, and maybe you talk with your professional, your financial advisor, and so forth, okay? So let's go back to the weekly chart. I'm going to bring it up right here. So now each of these bars represents 1 week of trading. You can see that IOTA came out at a price point of around 25 cents, which is the low of this green candle. It shot to a high that week for around $1.26 before it pulled all the way back down and closed at about 40 cents. And that was a very bullish move that retraced. So it ended up being kind of bearish by the end of the week. It could not even get any higher the next week, and then it just collapsed on itself, making a new low. From there, it moved higher again, still could not get to the highs it had on that first week, and then collapsed again. But this time it didn't come down as far, it didn't break the low, and the bars were not as big. So these are smaller bars. It was a steady decline, and then it pivoted and had a reversal right here. That would have been a good buy opportunity. When you see that spike and the volume spike, that showed a lot of buyers coming into the market. So what I want to do first is I always draw my trend line based on the long-term trend. There's only 2 points at this point, long-term, which is these two, this low and this low on the weeklies. If I project this out into infinity, we can see that potentially it shows this is a $10 coin by March of 2019. And that's if it stayed on this track that we see with these 2 points. However, we can see recently it just blew past these resistant area here that was set back in June and again in August, and it blew past those here in the last 2 weeks, showing a much more parabolic move. So that parabolic move I'm going to draw not here on the long-term trend because this is a weekly chart. So I want to go down to my daily chart, and then I'll draw my shorter-term trend. So you can see here's the long-term chart, the long-term trend line, and you can see the 50 moving average is moving upward parabolically, and it looks very strong. Volume's really accelerated, showing more buying pressure coming into the move. And I'm going to take this trend line, I'm going to just draw this on this current trend. And you can see right here, this was the first trend we had in motion, which accelerated. This is 1.2 points again. And then it's just gone even more parabolic than that. It's actually moved up sideways and then up again. So I could draw another trend line. I'm not going to do that because it gets too aggressive. We can use the 9-period moving average right here. The purple line you see, let me click on it. I'll try to make it. I'm clicking on the parabolic for the SAR. I'm going to try to make this line a little bit easier for us to see. So I can get it, there it is. So I'm going to make it a thicker line, and that way you can see it better. This will act as a dynamic moving average, and basically what we can see here is as long as this coin stays above the purple line, that's the 9-period moving average, it's bullish on the short term. If it stays above the 50, it's bullish on the long term. Or if you can use this long-term trend line here, if it stays north of this long-term trend line, you're bullish. It's a slower move. Shorter term, again, we've drawn this trend line, which is not dynamic. It is just using these 2 points. If it stays above there, we're bullish. So what I'd like to see IOTA do, and again, I bought it over here before the breakout. I saw it hitting its head against this old resistance here, and I wanted to buy. So that's when I bought in to the position. It's now about quadrupled since I bought it. But it came up, it broke through. Now what it did is something called jumping the river, testing the ice. It broke through resistance here. You can see it did it right there. It closed above that river. Then it shot up the next week, and then look what it did, or the next day, sorry. And then it came back down and it retested and bounced. Retested again and bounced. And it built this sideways pattern. This is showing that it's a strong breakout, potentially setting up for another move, and that's exactly what it did. So now we're up higher. It's up here, and this is really healthy because what it's doing is it's consolidating right now. As this consolidates, it's either going to hang out and create this little sideways pattern like it did over here, giving us another opportunity to buy it for the next leg up, or it's going to come down. So we don't know until it actually shows the move. So it's either going to come back down to this trend line or to this moving average, and it will pivot and turn. Or it's just going to go sideways here, making a little bit of motion, and then it will break out and start going higher. So that gives us the opportunity to buy the position. And when you're doing that, you can put a stop loss underneath. If you're trading this position, you could always put a stop loss right under the low of the previous bar, which would be right there around $3.20. Now again, I'm not buying these to sell them. I'm buying them to hold them for 2 to 5 years. So timing is not as critical, but I do still want to get the best price I can. So I would like to see it come back down here at around the 160 level, 162, and I could buy it on a bounce. If I buy it at 390, I'm giving up some upside potential. But again, these things are moving very quickly. So IOTA looks really strong. Again, in the Internet of Things, this token is positioning itself to be a great token, and the network sounds very, very healthy for currency, especially in the machine environment or the Internet of Things, where everything's going to be talking to each other through the internet. So right now, I would say this looks like a really good buy positioning. It's either going to create this flag formation here sideways and stay within this range just for a short time to consolidate and to digest the gains it's had, because it's had a lot of gains, that 400% move. And then when it breaks to the upside, that would be a good buy point. If it breaks to the downside, we can wait for it to come down to one of these areas and then pivot and bounce just like it did here and here. And we can look to buy it with even a stop loss underneath where we could exit the trade if indeed it looks to break and go south of this trend line I drew. All right, so that's kind of my analysis on IOTA. I hope it answers some questions. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you actually can see this video this time. I will continue to perfect this. If you have any questions, please put them below the video. If you liked it, please give me a like and share. I will be putting out more videos on wallets, on the Ponzi schemes going on around crypto, which I'm sure people are making money with, but eventually a lot of people will get hurt with those. And I will be reviewing other coins, more of a technical analysis basis. And otherwise, I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to go back here, and I'm going to sign out. And thanks for stopping by.